Recently, I got called out for being too obsessed about Kanye and only making videos about him, so I went ahead and for the first time ever listened to the entirety of J Dilla's Donuts. So here are 3 key lessons I learned from J Dilla that made me and will make you better at sampling. Starting off with interesting chops. So usually when I sample for Kanye West type beats, I tell people to go really simple with how they chop their samples, because that's what I see Kanye doing most of the time and that's what I see working for him the most. So usually that's just how my beats look. You just have a one sample and it just repeats throughout the beat. Right, but while listening to J Dilla's Donuts, what I noticed is that he makes way more of interesting chops. So that's what I tried to go for here. So I sampled the Interlude 2 by Bobby Womack, and here's how it sounds. What's going on? So what I do with it is I speed up the tempo of it and put it on repitch mode, so it gets pitched up. And then I put it into the sampler and chop it every half so I can actually play it on my keyboard. Right, what's also important here is I put it on through mode. So basically, if I would put it on mono, if I just play one chop, it will stop at the end of that chop. But if I put it on through and play that single chop, it's gonna keep going to the next one. So I try to be way more creative with my chops and pack way more of them into just 8 bars. So here's what I came up with. What's going on? What's going on? So my favorite part is definitely this end right here, because I just love how those two chops just go into one another. Right, so the next thing is subtle drums. So I sampled this song called Black Heat. I take this first part right here and I warp it to tempo. Next, what I do is I just add a little bit of EQ to take away the presence of the snare, compress it all down and make it a little bit more mono, so it's just more balanced overall, right? So here's how it sounds with the sample. Right, but the drums themselves didn't really match with this part right here. So what I did is I actually chopped them up a bit. You can see that I just took 2 hi-hats and I just alternated between them. It sounds weird by itself, but if we play it in the context, it sounds quite nice. What's going on? What's going on? So sampling is hard. I mean, when I was starting out just 2 years ago, I felt so lost, but I still fell in love with making music. So if you feel like you have no one to share your music with, to get feedback from and improve with, then check out Sample Academy. You will get there tons of resources to improve your skills, but most importantly, you will get access to the community and my help, which means that when you are stuck on your next beat, you can just hit me up and I'll help you. So Sample Academy, it's currently on its pre-sale, so go check it out right now, first link in the description. Right, so next point is layering multiple samples, but before we actually layer multiple samples, let me add a bass line to this beat. So I just found this bass, right, and I just played it to match the sample. Right, so now we can go into layering our samples. So like actually we got already 2 samples here because we got the sample by Bobby Womack and the Blackheart sample, but I also sampled this song called Delta 9 and I just like this little intro right here.
So you motherfuckers thought I was gonna change my style.
So I just take this little portion right here and I throw it into sampler and chop it on transient. Then I add a EQ to it, a saturator, an analog clip, a OTT compressor and a LA to A. And here is how I chop the sample up. And I just let that play every 4 bars. So here is how our 2 samples sound together. Right, it's very subtle. You can barely hear it, but it still adds a lot of character to the song. And the last thing I learned from Jay Dilla is to not make any single sound shine too much. Everything has its space in a beat, and everything is equally important in a beat, so you need to pay attention to everything, because everything matters. So if I just arrange the beat out a little bit, here's how the final version sounds.